man, I can't fucking believe this. Another basement, another elevator. How could the same shit happen to the same guy twice?
Die Hard 2 is the 1990 sequel to the 1988 action film that would find large box office success and mostly favorable reviews from critics. On Christmas Eve, 2 years after the events of the first film, police officer John McClane, played by Bruce Willis, is now working for the Los Angeles Police Department and has become a nationally known celebrity. Visiting his in-laws in Washington, D.C., he finds himself at Dulles Airport awaiting the arrival of his wife Holly, played by Bedelia, flying in from Los Angeles, California.
We're going to be about half an hour late landing, okay? I just wanted to let you know. Kids okay?
Yeah, well, they're about to lose their minds from all the sugar your parents are giving them.
Did Mom give you a hard time about borrowing her new car?
No, not yet. Listen, honey, when you land, can we just, like, rent a car, check into a hotel, we'll leave the kids with your parents, order some room service, a bottle of champagne. What do you say?
You're on, Lieutenant.
I'll see you in about a half an hour, honey.
As a snowstorm continues to intensify, Colonel William Stewart, played by William Sadler, is planning to use his team of ex-military mercenaries to help meet the plane of a deposed general, Ramon Esperanza, played by Franco Nero. A former leader of the fictional Central American country of Valverde, the men plan on taking the general out of the United States to a non-extradition country.
Excuse me. Well, you look really familiar to me.
I get that a lot. I've been on TV.
Yeah, me too.
McClane notices some of the men acting suspiciously and winds up in the luggage hold, where things turn violent.
Hey! It's a restricted area. What's the matter? Been waiting for the sky cap?
We work here.
See some ID.
Sure, no problem. No problem.
After killing one of the men, McClane meets airport police captain Carmine Lorenzo, played by Dennis Franz.
Oh, what, you think that L.A. badge is going to get you a free lunch or something around here?
No. Maybe a little professional courtesy.
In an airport on Christmas week. You gotta be kidding.
Okay, fuck courtesy. How about just being professional? Your boys just walked away from a crime scene, Captain.
Yeah. And I got everybody from the Shriners Convention to the goddamn Boy Scouts traipsing through here. I got lost kids, lost dogs, not now, later. I got international diplomats. I got a fucking reindeer flying in here from the fucking petting zoo. But John McClane, he's got a little problem. Hell, let's shut down the whole fucking airport.
Lorenzo is less than enthusiastic about John McClane.
Yeah, I know all about you and that Nakatomi thing in L.A. But just because the TV thinks you're hot shit, that don't make it so. Look, you are in my little pond now, and I am the big fish that runs it. So you cap some lowlife, fine. I'll send your fucking captain in L.A. a fucking commendation. Now, in the meantime, you get the hell out of my office before I have you thrown out of my goddamn airport.
Doing his own investigation, McClane contacts Los Angeles Sergeant Al Powell, played by Reginald VelJohnson, and discovers that the dead guy's fingerprints correspond to an American soldier who had supposedly died in a helicopter accident 2 years prior.
Oh? What can you tell me about him?
He's dead.
You needed a computer to figure that one out?
No. You don't follow me. According to the Department of Defense, he's been dead for 2 years.
What?
That's right. Sergeant Oswald Cochran, American advisor in Honduras. Killed in a helicopter accident, 5/11/88.
Officer?
Read between the lines, and I'd say it looks like a lot of black bag stuff to me.
Yeah, I see it. All right, Al, thanks a lot.
Listen, you're not pissing in somebody's pool, are you?
Yeah, and I'm fresh out of chlorine.
Suspecting that there may be some kind of attack on the airport involving General Esperanza, McClane reports his concerns and findings to Air Traffic Control Director Ed Trudeau, played by Fred Thompson.
All right, we've got a body in the morgue that seems to have died twice. Assuming it's not a computer error, what do we assume?
Somebody's about to seriously fuck with this airport.
I mean, you're talking about a hijack and a robbery or what?
This is the resume of a professional mercenary. You got the world's biggest drug dealer on his way here now. What do you need, a slide rule to figure this out? Or maybe another body in a zipper bag before you start asking questions?
Lorenzo, have all your shift commanders report in, now.
What? You're not buying into this.
I want them to report anything out of the ordinary, no matter how trivial. You got that?
Yeah, I got it.
Oh my God!
What?
The runway!
Son of a bitch.
What the hell?
Shutting down!
Jesus Christ.
Stewart and his men, operating out of a church on the outskirts of the airport, cut all communications with incoming airplanes.
Tell us what's going on. I'm on approach.
Azure Sky, maintain position. Repeat.
What's going on down there?
Roger, we're on it. We're Western. We're unable right now. Please delay.
Fuji 604. Execute published missed approach procedure and hold.
Attention all controllers, attention. We have a code red alert. Every aircraft approaching our sector who are not already in our landing pattern gets diverted to their alternate airport now. Everyone already on approach or inside our pattern holds at the outer markers. McClane, this what you expected?
No. This is just the beginning.
Disable all runway lighting and demand that Esperanza's plane be allowed to land without any interference.
How did you get on this line? Who is this?
Who I am is unimportant. What I want, well, if you don't want those planes to start splashing into the Potomac as they run out of fuel, what I want is very important. The plane will be landing at this airport in 58 minutes. It is FM-1, Foreign Military 1. Now, I'm sure you gentlemen are well aware of the unique nature of this flight and the importance of its cargo.
In the meantime, Holly notices how many aircraft are circling and is joined in curiosity by Los Angeles television reporter Dick Thornburg, played by William Atherton. Thornburg has a restraining order filed against Holly after she punched him on live television 2 years prior in the events of the first film.
I think you're closer than 50 yards.
So's that airplane. Practically.
Yeah.
See, you're intrigued. That's my gift, Mrs. McClane. I notice things. Things other people wouldn't see. It's how I make people curious.
Don't you mean nauseous?
Airport Chief Engineer Leslie Barnes, played by Art Evans, works to try and find some way to signal to the planes that hostile forces are at work. Lorenzo sends an airport SWAT team with him to an antenna array, but Stewart's men kill the officers and destroy the antenna. McClane, crawling through tunnels, finds his way there and saves Barnes. Finding a radio, McClane begins a dialogue with Colonel Stewart.
Now you're going to pay the penalty.
I got 5 dead officers down here, Colonel Stewart. Isn't that penalty enough?
McClane, you keep out of this. You've been nothing but a pain.
Oh, McClane. John McClane. The policeman hero who saved the Nakatomi hostages. I read about you in People magazine. You seemed a bit out of your league on Nightline, I thought.
Hey, Colonel, blow me. How much drug money's Esperanza paying you to turn traitor?
This country's got to learn that it can't keep cutting the legs off of men like General Esperanza. Men who have the guts to stand up against communist aggression.
And lesson 1 starts with killing policemen? What's lesson 2, the neutron bomb?
No, I think we can find something in between.
Stewart deliberately crashes a large British airliner, killing everyone on board. McClane, doing everything that he can, hopes to get to the general before the colonel and the mercenaries do, and save his wife before it is too late.
Freedom. Not yet. Supposed to stay in your seat until the plane reaches the terminal. No frequent flyer mileage for you.
Who are you?
A cop.
A cop?
Yeah, one of the good guys. You see, you're one of the bad guys, and now that I got your sorry ass, I'm gonna trade it for my wife.
The screenplay was adapted from Walter Wager's 1987 novel 58 Minutes. The novel has the same plot but differs slightly in that a police officer must stop terrorists who take an airport hostage while his daughter's plane circles overhead, and he has 58 minutes to do so before the plane crashes. Most of the interior airport scenes were filmed in the Tom Bradley International Terminal at Los Angeles International Airport. Costing $62 million, this was the most expensive film ever made up to that point. Filming began on December 14, 1989, and wrapped up on May 14, 1990, after 5 months. Bruce Willis had ad-libbed many one-liners in the first film that audiences liked. Bruce Willis was told he could ad-lib as much as he wanted to in this movie. Bruce Willis was paid $7.5 million for this film. It was director Rennie Harlin's idea that Colonel Stewart, played by William Sadler, be introduced naked doing martial arts exercises in the movie's opening. He would later say that it was an effective but unusual way to introduce a character. William Sadler trained for several months in karate and tai chi to prepare for the ending fight scene in this film. Although he gets fourth billing, Reginald VelJohnson only appears in 2 scenes. The ABC television series Family Matters prevented him from having a larger role in this film. In earlier screenplay drafts, there was a more prominent female role that was earmarked for actress Linda Fiorentino. The subplot involving General Esperanza being turned over to the U.S. government is a reference to the real-life Panamanian general Manuel Noriega, who was overthrown for brutality and drug trafficking in Panama in the 1980s. This general is from Valverde, the fictitious Latin American country used in the 1985 film Commando. Director Rennie Harlin met former President Ronald Reagan during filming. They met at Reagan's office in Fox Plaza in Los Angeles, California. That is the same building where the first Die Hard was filmed. This film was shipped to theaters as wet prints, an industry term meaning that it was just barely completed before its release date. The film exceeded all expectations, outgrossing the original Die Hard by nearly double the amount. Die Hard 2 opened on July 4, 1990, and grossed a total of $240 million. This movie was a gigantic hit and was among the top 10 highest-grossing films of 1990. After the movie's initial release in theaters, it was played frequently on the TBS Basic Cable Network during the 1990s and was heavily dubbed for content by voice actors. This dubbing was noted for sounding nothing like the actors who played their roles.
Here, SWAT team and all. We don't need any Monday morning quarterbacks.
Get Monday morning. My wife's on one of those planes these guys are fooling with. That puts me on the playing field. And if you'd have moved your fat feet when I told you to, we wouldn't be hip-deep in snow right now.
In 2010, late-night television host Conan O'Brien roasted TBS Standards and Practices manager Jim Spann about the hilarious dubbing.
Watching TBS the other night, Die Hard 2 came on. You guys had dubbed some of the swear words. I questioned the quality of the dubbing. I'm not trying to be rude, but I'd like you to take a look.
Yippee-ki-yay, Mr. Falcon.
Yippee-ki-yay, Mr. Falcon? There's no Mr. Falcon in the movie. What's wrong with saying yippee-ki-yay, mother...
Now, this movie does have several very large inconsistencies or impossibilities that I have to address. John McClane says one of the mercenaries had a Glock 7 that was undetectable to X-ray machines, which in reality is not true. Glock never produced such a handgun. The movie's armorer, Mike Papik, commented that he tried to talk them out of that scene, but that they wouldn't budge. The older female passenger on Holly's plane had a stun gun. She would not have been permitted to carry a stun gun on board the plane during the flight. Regardless of tower instructions, no captain or co-pilot would intentionally circle an unusable airport beyond his alternative airport fuel reserve. The flight crew has absolute authority and responsibility to land safely, regardless of location or weather. No U.S. military unit would be able to interdict in an operation like this on United States soil. This would have been the jurisdiction of federal law enforcement. Colonel Stewart refers to Esperanza's plane, FM-1, using phonetic letters Foxtrot Michael 1. The phonetic alphabet for the letter M is always Mike, not Michael. Also, a military flight carrying a high-profile foreign prisoner would not be allowed to land at a civilian airport. It would have been sent to a military airfield. The baseball-style hand grenades used to blow up the military transport plane have a fuse of about 5 to 7 seconds before detonation. From the moment the first one is thrown at Bruce Willis, 37 seconds elapse. While it's possible that the mercenaries put extended fuses in the grenades, it's not very realistic. This is the only film in the Die Hard series where John McClane is a Los Angeles police officer. In all the other movies, he is a New York City police officer. The improbability of quitting a police department and returning to a command position, a lieutenant, is so high that it's likely the producers simply didn't bother to try and hope that the audiences wouldn't notice. I think the filmmakers were trying to give the idea that he moved to Los Angeles to be with his wife and that he was going to be a Los Angeles police officer from here on out. But by the third film, he was back in New York City. Another thing, McClane flashes his badge to the airport worker to get into the baggage handling area. No city police officer has authority in the airport, let alone John McClane, whose badge says that he's Los Angeles police, except maybe Washington police and airport police. Those are a lot of plot holes and inconsistencies. However, this movie is very entertaining. It received 2 thumbs up from movie critics Gene Siskel and Roger Ebert, with Siskel raving, surprisingly, about how shocked he was to enjoy the movie.
It is a very good movie, and one of the things that's best about it, and also scariest about it, is how convincing it is in terms of its aircraft footage. There was a crash in this movie that looked all too convincingly real. I think that this movie is going to be severely edited before it's shown in in-flight entertainment systems. And there's another scene where Willis ejects from a cockpit. Fabulous. And you remember the scene? He flies up until his face is a foot from the camera. Like this, and then back down again, and you think, what a place to put, you know it's special effects, but still, what a place to put the point of view. What a great shot. Thank you for going to the trouble of giving us this shot. And I agree with you that the movie, from beginning to end, for my money, is way superior to the original Die Hard, which...
Oh, I like that too, but this is...
It's good, but it's fun, you know.
This is really something special. I sat there aghast with pleasure. Is that possible?
No, but anyway, I know what you're trying to say, yes.
Yeah, I mean, this is a terrific achievement.
Now, there are enormous holes in the plot of this movie, of course, including the fact that you wouldn't have the airplane circling for 2 hours, and they could all, of course, use their own radios to reach other ground radio stations, so that the entire crisis at the airport is completely nonsensical, but what the heck?
Well, I bought the picture. That was the one thing that I was thinking, is that they could obviously get to other airports, the other planes that are being held there. But other than that, I think this is superb.
I remember I actually received the VHS tape of this movie in an Easter basket when I was a young teenager. If memory serves, it was actually the last time I ever received an Easter basket. I should also note that Tony Ganos, who played Meat from Porky's, plays one of the bad guys in this movie, and Bruce Willis stabs him in the eyeball with a fucking icicle. Good stuff. This movie is a very high 8 stars. I almost feel tempted to go higher. If you're a fan of the original film, then I highly recommend the 1990 box office Christmas action hit, Die Hard 2.
Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. It doesn't show signs of stopping.